and answer. Thank you, as well as for discussion. And at that point, the recording will be stopped. So this is a safe space. Feel free to share and ask any questions that you may have. So again, thank you so much for being here. My name is Liz Arias. I'm an incoming second year PA student. I start my clinical rotations in 2 weeks, and I attend Towson University CCBC in Maryland.
My name is Nathan Colbank. I am a second year student at Chatham University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I will actually be graduating at the end of July, so I'm excited for that. We're so happy that you guys can make it here.
Hello, my name is Karina Arlucia, and I'm a second year clinical student at Sacred Heart University in Stamford, Connecticut, and I will be graduating in December.
And we are all directors of PAS LEAD, which stands for Physician Assistant Students for Leadership, Equity, Anti-Racism, and Diversity. Who we are is a group of like-minded PA students made of Black, Indigenous, and people of color and their allies. We formed out of the May 2020 PAEA anti-racism town hall discussions in the wake of the George Floyd murder. The conversations then turned to what changes need to be made to help BIPOC individuals enter PA academia and the profession. Our vision is that we aspire that all PA programs will actively combat racism and discrimination, that diversity and equity is present within PA school faculty, cohorts, and ultimately the PA profession. According to 2019 statistics by NCCPA, 3.6% of PAs identify as Black, 6% identify as Asian, 0.3% identify as Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, and 6.6% identify as Latino. We want to help change the profession to produce more providers that are representative of the communities that we serve. And I will now turn it over to Nate to discuss our mission statement.
So please go ahead and read this at your leisure, but I'll kind of sum it up by saying we're working towards leadership, equity, anti-racism, and diversity by promoting DEI initiatives at the PA program level and supporting underrepresented minorities in the profession and in academia. Ultimately, we want to have a diverse pool of clinicians that are not only more culturally competent, but also have cultural humility, meaning that they understand that they'll never be fully competent to understand others' needs that are not like them, but they will continue to work towards competency through self-reflection and lifelong learning. This will involve them also acknowledging implicit biases and working to change it. Our goals with PAS LEAD are to share resources and help students combat systemic racism and to make changes within their program and ultimately within the profession. We'll advocate for equity, anti-racism via policy changes, updating PA school curriculum, and also removing BIPOC barriers in the admissions criteria, such as the GRE or other standardized testing that people of color typically score lower on. We'd also like to empower and support the Black, Indigenous, and people of color, as well as underrepresented minorities that are already in PA school, have already finished PA school, or are looking to get into PA school. And we will build relationships with the big 4 PA organizations listed there, as well as other like-minded organizations that are working towards DEI, both in academia and in the profession. We'll do this by having a reference bank for students to find information to work towards the goals that they are seeking to accomplish in their PA programs. And we're looking to, and we'll also be developing and have started and have already released some of a toolkit to help students in how they may start the conversation among their peers and approach faculty and admissions committees in a respectful but stern manner to state what you want to be done and how you think that the solutions can be made to have that happen. Because coming to them with a problem without some type of solution is not necessarily the best way to get your point across and get changes made. I'm going to let Karina talk to you now about how you might get started with all this journey for DEI within the PA programs.
So some advocacy ideas. One, starting a petition at your program. If there's material you feel that you want to learn and it's lacking in your curriculum, we recommend asking your classmates through an email polls or Google Forms to vote on material that you all want to learn and signing a petition along with that so you can provide that to your faculty, because there is always strength in numbers and as a united voice. But regardless, even if you are the only student who wants to learn about something specific, you pay tuition. So you have a right to speak on how you want to enhance your education. Another advocacy idea is start a student group or organization. All PA programs should be having a diversity chair now, but if you're passionate about advocating for diversity, equity, inclusion, justice, don't feel limited if you're not in an elected position. You can always offer help to your diversity chair and share and ask to collaborate together or as a board. Organizing scholarship or grant. So if your program doesn't have a diversity, equity, inclusion scholarship or grant, you can be the one who brings it up. I wrote a formal proposal to my program director who utilized unspent money from this past year because of COVID that they didn't use, that was budgeted for travel, hotel, CME money, conferences, etc. And they ended up creating 4 scholarships, and one of those being a diversity scholarship. Seeking mentorship outside your program. If you feel unsupported within your program, you can always look to your institution, whether it's a different ethnic groups or a professor that you know is passionate about DEI, reach out to them. Because last year when I felt like I needed some more support, I went and looked at my institution. I joined the Hispanic Association, even though it was mostly undergrads and I was a graduate student. There were a couple other graduate students, and it's just nice to feel supported in a certain group. Also, I joined a multicultural advisory board. So, and if you don't have that even in your institution, we do want you to know that you can come to PAS Lead, because we are composed of directors, but we're students and we know how it is. We're always open and willing to provide any form of mentorship, whether you're a pre-PA or a PA student, or just want to have a friend, someone to talk to. And lastly, host a PAC or organization who specializes working with special populations. Whether it is Black, Indigenous, people of color, LGBT, the homeless population, immigrant population, any special population, like you should reach out to clinical experts or groups who would be willing to teach your program, like your students, all the necessary tools that they need and to be culturally competent, cultural humility, so that you can provide adequate care to them. Oh, sorry, my computer froze. Our quarterly meetings. So as of now, we will be hosting quarterly meetings on the 2nd Sunday of every 3rd month, and we'll be discussing current events, upcoming projects, and any new resources we create, but we'll also always update that on our toolkit. We also talk about the long historical implications of systemic racism that has been interwoven into healthcare and health disparities that continue to exist. Historically, medical schools and PA programs do not adequately teach their students cultural humility. For example, learning only on white models or the lack of colored skin in textbooks and in the lecture of the PowerPoints at your programs. And because of this, patients aren't getting the quality care that they need because we're not properly educated. We also just want to provide a space for discussion and advocacy planning. If you look here on the right, it's just a snapshot of a previous meeting we had hosting Dapion Sturgis and Sato. He's a PAC as well. They've talked about their racial discrimination they faced as students and as working PAs. And then on the slide, you could just find us on our Facebook. Our Instagram is @PAsLead, or we're also on Twitter, and we have a group me where most of our discussion happens. Here, we just update you with any scholarship opportunities that come up, DEI conferences or Zoom talks, workshops, student leadership opportunities that become available, and just open discussion on any current events. You could also go to our website, which is paslead.org, for any new announcements, or contact us through email for pasleadorg@gmail.com. I also just wanted to state that some of our directors are graduating this year, and we're going to be looking for some new leaders. So please attend our next meeting for additional information, or feel free to send us an email as well. Now I'll be turning it back to Liz, who's going to talk about our next meeting.
Thank you again for your attention and your time. As Karina said, our next meeting is going to be on Sunday, June 13th. Zoom ID as well as links will be distributed on our GroupMe as well as our social media. So please follow us so you can get a little bit more information. And again, as Karina mentioned, we are going to be looking for new directors, as some of our current directors are graduating. So please save the date so you can find out more. We're now going to take the opportunity to have a question and answer as well as discussion. So I will ask that the recording be stopped, please.